I don't know what awards it is. Actually, probably Grammys or something. But basically, Lily Singh was saying we need to stop telling women that the biggest accomplishment that they can achieve in their lives is marriage, because it's harder to fly a plane, do a law degree, everything else bar being married. And this is the thing, you get married and then it doesn't even like...
You're talking to me. You're talking to me.
Or the man's cheating on you the whole time.
Oh my gosh. Oh, and that brings me to a point, and I said it in one of our last videos. Your best friend ends up with your man. Never happened to me like it did. My maid of honour. And told me I was always jealous of your relationship.
You know what?
These girls be trifling, you know.
You say best friend, it's not your friend. They be snaking you, remember?
She be looking at my man's body.
Remember?
On the sly. You drag.
Please.
Don't care. Man's dragged my name for like 20,000 years and we're still not divorced. I've had a whole other man and a child and he refuses to divorce
And
me.
you know what pisses me off? It'll be the same friends that will go to you and be like, you know you're going through like a tough or rough patch with them. And they're like, oh my God, I'm so sorry, I'm here for you. I think you should just leave him if he's really doing so much damage.
Well, I know some people will probably think you shouldn't watch these things, but Medea.
Yeah.
I thought that was... I noticed it before it was said.
Yeah.
I said, something weird's going on there.
She's too cozy.
Yeah, I said, what a snake. You'll be bawling to your friend about your man. And she's thinking, I'm going to climb that.
It didn't mean to happen. We just, girl, you've been plotting that from the start. Cause I've had plenty of friends that would be like, oh, if you don't go there, I will.
Mm-hmm.
Rubbish.
That's why I make my moves quiet.
You know.
Well.
But they're still snaky.
Yeah, I've always said there's always some girl that will have your man. And she probably got no batty, no teeth, but she gives it up, and you can piss on her and everything.
Mom.
I don't care, it's the truth. No, you bitches. You want to be me so bad. You can now.
That's what I'm saying, residual honey juices.
Oh, I wonder what is with her.
That's why if I post my man, and you see face, everything, you can have him, that's what that means. Yeah. Have it.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's for the streets. If he's that accessible, you might as well take him off my hands, because I don't business. I'm not going to be tolerating a man that's disloyal. That's one of the biggest things for me.
That's my number one. If you want to disloyal, the amount of women that are sitting in their house right now talking to their best friend about this guy who they know is with somebody else and kids and they're waiting for him. You're at home waiting for a disloyal man to come and wife you.
You're stupid.
More men in the fish of the sea for me. Fish of the sea.
Fish of the sea. It doesn't say there's plenty men in the...
It's been 5 years in October.
Fish in the sea.
But think about...
The variety is dire though.
Sorry, the quick got stuck. Sorry.
That's a bit too much. Then no. man them are moving like gal now.
Listen. They broke the covenant. Ever since... It's just a code. Or the 10 Commandments. It sounds... That sounds dry and boring, but really it's a code. Listen, man and man's not going to kill each other, yeah? Do we agree? Yeah, I agree. Man and man ain't going to covetous of a next man's wife. Do we agree? Yeah, that's fair. Okay. That's all it is. It's a general consensus with everybody that let's come up with some kind of rules that mean that everyone lives harmoniously. Ever since that's been broken, then you start to look at things and you take your religious eyes off and you use your logic, your wisdom, your life experiences. You go, it makes sense. And since the morals and the code's gone, Everybody's just going on outlandish.
Yeah, but there is a rebellious spirit though, and that's portrayed like social media is that, like music videos are that. Everybody just thinks, oh, the only way I'm gonna be seen or appreciated is if I'm shaking whole batty crease on everything. That's the only way you get seen.
Do you know what's interesting about
It's
that?
sad.
Because you know me, I like to see things from like the same thing from different aspects. And I was listening to somebody one time. Could have been my auntie, and she used to go on the missions with Grandad. Until his funeral, I didn't know he'd done all them things in Africa. Like the typical Christian, sounds bad, but open up churches in Nigeria and different places. I never knew. I knew they went to Papua New Guinea and they went places where like it's untouched and they could kill you. I forgot my train of thought. Yeah, I think it was my auntie, but I'm not going to quote. It might have been somebody else said. They thought that moving the hips and wiggling and all that type of stuff was wrong. And they went to these tribes and they wasn't doing it for a sexual thing. Even little girls were doing it. It was just to do with being feminine, feeling the earth beneath your feet and worshipping and being happy. It wasn't.
This
it was
westernized
I think
side of the world.
They've used everything that we had. Because remember, like I've said to you, on a lot of these flags, like the real flag of America, real flag, historic flags, not something that some Afrocentric person made up, you will see somebody covered with a parasol. And, well, it must be the tobacco trees or palm trees in the back. And workers relaxed. Everyone's smiling. They're drawings because that's what they did before. Photographs, you know. And they're half naked. And the mindset must have been different because generally there wasn't no abuse, sexual abuse and all that stuff going on.
It would be different. But now that's we've got too many tax people now. I even posted some earlier today with some man drugged this girl, raped her, left her in the middle of the street in south of London, and just left her in the cold with her clothes back to front. And she don't know, like, she didn't know what happened to her, and the police are looking. I'm not sure her age, but I've posted it today. And that's what I'm saying, like, because everything is so sexualized
The code, and everyone said it's normal. And I said it in the last video, it's not a disrespect thing, it's just common sense. Like, at the end of the day, some girl can't control it because there's honey traps. I mean, I heard from another person's channel that some man was lured into a house. It might have been him and a woman to help remove the ice off somebody's street, and they put the woman, I don't know if I'm mixing the stories, but she put him in a cage. She was some kind of dominant. She put him, basically when the police came, they found him in a cage dead with his clothes off.
Wow.
And this, it's new breed. It's him, his channel. He might not appreciate someone like me, but that's his business. But I still appreciate him. And he was saying, fellas, listen, this summer is going to be a mad one because, well, what shall we call it? The rice injection. What people don't understand about that is just like when we watched that thing about the robots, there is a general satellite that emits the message, and it can emit the message to all of these robots that are now here, whether they're here, China, wherever, collectively, all at once, and it can give them one instruction, which is kill. Yeah. And they will all do it together in unison.
There was that movie with what's her name? She's like she managed to absorb like some drugs in her body, and it helped her to attain all the knowledge in the world.
Sounds like Limitless.
No.
Similar concept.
Mm-hmm.
No. Yeah.
Similar concept, and they were explaining. Morgan Freeman's in the movie.
Yeah.
And my girl plays Black Widow.
You know me, I forget.
The white girl with the big lip.
You used to be with Brad.
It's not. No,
Angelina.
No.
Who?
What's the movie called? But basically, it's a similar thing. But what happens is she controls all the cars that she can hear when everyone's on the phone. Everything. She connects to the satellite.
This is what people don't see.
She turns off all the cars, or like stops every car.
Look at that.
And then parts like.
What's it called?
I forgot what it's called. This is what I'm saying.
Lee's your
is
friend.
It Eve or something?
Hello. Good
the
evening.
First monkey.
Excuse me? I'm the first monkey.
You.
Oh, is that what we're doing today?
The name of the first monkey on the planet. That's what the movie's called.
I don't know. As in Tumai, what they say. It's nonsense, but... Anyway, hello. How are you? Hello to our new subbies.
Thank you so much for subscribing. It's amazing.
50,000 subscribers.
Can you?
It's a lie, but sorry, forgive me, Father. But you have to say it, and you say it with, belief.
Conviction.
Conviction is the word. Yeah. How are you? Been a lot going on, and I'm sorry if you were like,
yeah,
what's the next week video? But we had to put ourselves first. A lot's been going on, as always. You know what them crispy know? Do you know what them crisp are? And what I've learned about potatoes, they're from the family of nightshade, it's called. And with arthritis, they aggravate you.
Well, who told you to fast?
Let me just drink some of my Cersei.
What did I say? Fruit of nuts. And you said, no. You know what?
Cersei, the Cersei. It does the job though. Sorry. How are you? Today we're going to have a general talk about things that have pricked our consciousness or come up in social media. Not that we particularly on it, but things come up, don't they? And it's going to sound like a lot, but we'll take it slowly, and I think then we'll address each of these subjects in the next videos, one at a time, I reckon. But generally, we just want to catch up with you, what's been going on and how people feel. And I've noticed a few things, i.e. Cardi B. I know I'm late because I've seen people have done videos about it, but nevertheless, she spoke up on social media. If you know, perhaps you do, perhaps you don't. But what she said was, is God angry with us because of all the things that are going on right now in the world, including Russia? You see, it did affect me. My eyes are stinking. Anyway. And she said, obviously I'm religious. I mean, that's got so many double connotations, but we are human, aren't we? And you might say, well, her, with the what?
She, the voice.
And all of that.
Yeah.
But she's still a human being. And you know what? This is why you can judge people all you like, but you don't know the content of their heart. Sometimes people can sit in your face looking very righteous with the right garms on, looking fresh-faced, and with that, look at me with my Jezebel lipstick, what truth could come out of these lips? And that's another conversation as well, because, Azazel and makeup, and I get it. I was raised in church, in Jesus' name only, and baptized in Jesus' name and all of that, so I do know what it is to be a holy saint, though I never was, and a bad girl. I do. Anyway, in regards to what she was saying, it made me recall the fact that I made a comment about what do you believe in our previous video, and I spoke about the name Jesus, and I said that I was reluctant to use the name because it had so many different connotations. So what I'm going to say about that is this. Firstly, I want you to understand that I'm not speaking from a place of taking the Lord's name in vain, being disrespectful about religion or any of that. Because if you didn't know, I was raised by a grandfather who was a bishop in the days of like Bishop Noel Jones, Grace Jones's brother, used to come to the house and stay for conventions. Dr. Norman L. Wagner, who's passed on. And if you don't know who Noel Jones is, Kanye did a Sunday service at his church not so long ago, probably a year or so ago. I used to sit in church and always as a child question, because I was always had this inquiring mind and think, people argue about all this stuff, but something's missing. Just something isn't sitting right. It's not making sense. And yes, I ran away from the faith. I did, literally, because it just felt like you can't breathe. And it's good to judge yourself, but it's like you can overly judge yourself. Like, I've spoken to most people that have been brought up in church, and there is this thing where you almost can't make decisions without this voice, and it's loud, and it's the voice of judgment in concerning everything you do. And so for me, the only way to quiet that voice was initially to rebel. And then, you go through certain experiences. And I sat down from 2014 to 2016 heavily. But I over the years, I had done it, predominantly those 2 years, more recently. And I took the Bible apart. I just wanted to know who wrote this version, why did they write it, who were the translators, why were they killed, why was Tyndall killed, who was Tyndall. In some pictures he looks white, in other pictures he looks like an Ethiopian. Thin lips, straight nose, high cheekbones, like mine, but higher, more chiseled. Who was this man in Rome? And we're not supposed to exist there because we don't know. We only come out of Africa, even though there's a whole world. That could be the only place black people could be. And so I researched, and it led me to so many different places. And I think we'll do a separate video on that. But what I will say to you is, if you look up the book, The True Authorship of the New Testament, and it says, Arius Calpurnius Piso, pen name Flavius Josephus, a Roman. Now, if you didn't know, current day, I say current day, but for the past, could we go back to even the 15th, 16th century? Christianity has been monopolized by the Romans. The Pope? Rome. Whatever, sect of Christianity you're in, it has been controlled by Rome. Now, that book I've just given you is going to expose a lot of things, and you're not going to like it, but I just want to say, I didn't write it. I didn't write it. Somebody made a comment. I made a comment on this person's page. I don't remember his page, that's how I am. Even if I subscribe and forget. And just by chance, I saw a response to what I wrote on the page come up. What I'd written was, great video. It was about Russia. and that black people have always been there. And now we're going to have an argument of people that say, heresies! Because you're emotional. If you would put aside your emotions and just look at the facts and go with the facts and use your logic, you would see that there is something wrong with what you believe to be true. And I will add, it's not your fault. It's been purposely and deceitfully given to you. And I've been saying for many years, we have the truth, but it's got face of a lie.
After you have shackled and enslaved a people, branded, castrated, lynched, burned, and tortured them, you called them 3/5 of a man, subspecies, an ape, a monkey, and a general inferior creation, how can we then admit that they are our teachers and the ones who gave us civilization? How can we admit that we descended from Greece and from Rome, and that Greece and Rome stole everything they knew from Egypt?
Of course.
And I've been saying for many years, and people thought I was mad.
That's propaganda.
Right. They've been giving you 3 Jesuses in this Bible, you know. And people go, what do you mean? I said, well, there's one that mashed down the table and told you don't trust the people of the church. Who was he? Who was he? Then you got a next one saying, drink my blood.
Please.
But there's a Bible verse that says you're not to drink the blood of anything because it's the life of the body.
And flesh.
Right.
That's not.
Then you've got Jesus Borgias, who was, I would like to use the right, a homosexual who slept with his sister. Also from Rome.
Make it make sense.
Also the son of, escape me for this very second because my mind is racing. But he's the face of Jesus that you see with the blue eyes and the blonde hair. And you see, here's the thing for me. And the book I just gave you, and I'll say it again, is the true authorship of the New Testament. The other Piso is another face of Jesus. You'll see, type it into Google. He was in control of Rome, and he put himself and his family in the Bible as, for instance, James. Really, it's his brother. Yeah, his mother's in there. These epistles and books of the Bible where you're saying, James said no, it's Piso's family members. You might want to be mad with me, but if you have logic, if you don't have logic and you just have emotion, this is not for you. But if you truly believe in your creator, your God, and you want to worship in spirit and in truth, then you should be searching for the truth, as it says in the Bible, as a hidden treasure. And even put that in there as a raw joker. Because what they did was change their names, put themselves in the book, under those names, put their history in there, and then you're there going, and Paul said, no, it's Piso.
And rip pages out.
And Piso.
Took it.
Piso.
And he did.
Everybody that came into power, here's the next thing, for everybody that's an unbeliever, every single kingdom you are under fought for this Bible to be in control of it. Why, if it has no relevance, why were they fighting? Why? So I would just say, I'm not saying that, in fact, I can't even say that, because when you read it, you will see there was a learned, prestigious man who, I would say, he believed in the true faith. And a lot of them were being forced to be part of the new Christianity, which is what slavery, one part of slavery was built on Christianity initially, and then it became about being black. I've spoken to you about this on my Instagram channel, right?
Well, if everything came from black, then the whole objective would be to stop people from liking or loving black, or even associating with
and them
black.
loving themselves.
Did you know that the Pope's private chapel has a black Jesus in it?
Fly me to the moon and let me play among the stars. Let me see what spring.
White people destroyed Egyptian monuments that looked too black. White people started separating Egypt from Africa as if it was two different places. White people started making Egyptians look white. And then when people started pointing out that Egyptians were in fact African, they started trying to make it seem like the pyramids were built by aliens because they did not want the modern white world to know how advanced the African culture was.
You called them 3/5 of a man, subspecies, an ape, a monkey, and a general inferior creation. How can we then admit that they are our teachers and the ones who gave us civilization? How can we admit that we descended from Greece and from Rome, and that Greece and Rome stole everything they knew from Egypt?
Remember, there is a book called The Slave Bible, and it's in Washington, D.C. Type it in. Listen, I'm not here to convince anybody of anything. All I'm saying, if you are a truth seeker, if you are really like in your heart, you want to make sure you're serving the correct God. You know, I always say, people are ready to read. They'll read the ingredients of what they're putting in their body.
Will they?
Some people. All right then, you get a Sky contract. You want to read it, small print. What month? How much? What did it say? Nah, not signing it. But the faith that you say you would die for and believe in, you wouldn't even check and make sure that the scriptures and the book you're holding in your hand isn't a heresy, hasn't been altered or doctored. Even though you know, because there's this testament, there's this translation and that. Even though you know it's been translated how many times, you wouldn't.
But this is
you
what
wouldn't
I'm saying,
say,
though.
"Let me make sure of the parts which is true, so that I know that I serve the true and living." You guys are cap. You're emotional, and let's just say from the get go, the name's not Jesus, and I've always had a problem. I said I don't want to call on a name, and it makes me now say. You know, when people make the statement, if God's real, if your God's real, then why is he letting this and that happen then? And I said to Eden, remember what happened in Sudan? And the dirty mans did come in the church and rape the little girl. And what they said was in front of the imam and the other kids was, if your God was here, I would still do this. And it made me go, what is it that they know? What do they know about? Okay, it's a different faith, but what do they know about the gods we serve? Because they all serve gods too. What do they know that we don't know for them to be that brazen about it? And just so you know, you were worshipping Piso. When you were saying Jesus, you were worshipping Piso, and you were worshipping Jesus Borgeos. Just to let you know, I did not say your God isn't real. I said you need to. If the name, there's power in the name of. Listen, and don't get me wrong. I've seen people be healed in that name. I've seen healing, but I'm wondering if, in your innocence, right? Because you only go with what you know. You've been given, don't you? First of all, why would
brainwashing?
Why would the people that Rome controls everything? Please don't start. Next thing, don't come in the comments with your immature, unseasoned, unresearched, or you only research one little thing here and come with argument. When I come with information, I initially will talk about it generally. Then I'm going to slap historic things on you so you can argue with that and not me. Also, to the guy who said, when I made this comment, and this is what I will lead you to. I have some information which I shared with a few people, and a scholar called KURIMEO. He's here on YouTube. I mean, his following is huge, and I rate this guy. I gave him this information, and it's called the Jah knowledge, and then it says, please, but no, he's not a Rastafarian. Please. Anyway, once you go to this link, if you go to my Instagram, go to my link tree, you will see it somewhere near the top. Press it. It has all the coats of arms of England, and I will add, the Queen says she's an ancient Hebrew. If you are ancient anything, what are you?
Black.
You can only be black. And I will add the next thing. White people say they come from they are closely related to the advanced Homo sapien, who's from Africa, but they are the Neanderthal, which existed between 3,000 and 4,000 years ago. Now, according to the white man's science, black people have been here for hundreds of thousands of years, possibly millions. Not my science, just want to add that. So, when I say these things, you can be angry with me all you like. You can say it's a supremacy thing, but the truth is, we know only one group of people that have been on this supremacy team. And this is what all of this is really about. I might sound like I'm speaking in riddles and things don't match, but you will soon realise that they do.
Think about it.
So what I'm saying to you is, if you come on our channel, you can have your own opinions. It's your mouth. I've been like that from young.
But don't be like, listen, you will get schooled if you're going to be coming on here chatting air and you haven't researched or have anything to back it up. There's always going to be a counteractive argument, you understand?
It's not about arguments.
It's not even
We're
arguing,
all teaching
just
each
try
other.
And learn. You know what I mean? Don't be ignorant.
I'm not here. Like I said, I don't know everything, and I've said, and I will continue to say, don't take it from me. Go and research it yourself. But to the brother that commented on this Birmingham Guys history page, and I'm sorry I don't remember your name, and I have sent you the link to this thing on your Instagram. And it's not about me having keys to the knowledge. It's just, I had it for a while. I only shared it with people that I thought would appreciate it. KURIMEO, KURIMEO, excellent scholar. I gave it to him. You're not talking to me now because I told you I talk to Africans. And don't lie. But I still think you're amazing. So that's your issue and not mine. Anywho, definitely go to his page. I'm telling you, if you are hungry for the truth and knowledge, the guy is amazing. I haven't had the time, but now I do. And so I will do it in my way. So he said, this is the nerve. I said the statement. The statement was brilliant. What you did is brilliant. This is a guy, you might like his page. Because a lot of these things that people are talking about right now, and he was talking about Russia and the fact that they used to worship black saints and the rest of it. It's in their churches. It's part of their historic art, etc. You can be mad with me, but I didn't make history. I wasn't here.
They got them dressing up as gollywogs the other day on I'm Just Bait. I think it is in Germany. Some girl in full get-up with the lipstick and blackface. So,
and what the Santa Claus they worship, why have I forgotten his name, in Amsterdam, and you laugh about it and say it's just a game. They were black Moors. Blackamoors, Moors. Some black people feel like they sold us out, others feel like they didn't. But in Spain and in Amsterdam, they have festivals where they blackface and dress up as the Moors. And I will give you the evidence of that. And that doesn't just go to white people, because it was I believe in my heart of hearts that this person is black. Because what they did is they said something, and they said, because I said, we are also Caucasian, we are the Caucasians. Type in 1828 Noah's encyclopedia. They stole that too. And this person said, the nerve, daughter of Esau. And I saw it and I went, and I'll tell you why, because I sat in church as a little girl and saw people argue about Esau and Jacob. And I said, these people are dumb. Because no matter if you think Esau was ruddy and he was white and hairy, his mother is still black. Still Rebecca, and his dad is still Isaac. So what are these people talking about?
If anything, it comes from us. So.
It makes no sense. And furthermore, then who are you mad with? Be mad with Isaac and Rebecca for having the son. And maybe his mother was narcissistic because she encouraged him to steal give his birthright, Jacob to steal the birthright from Esau. And you might say, well, Esau was this and that, but Esau was just thinking about now instead of the future. Him stupid. Either way, they come from the same womb, whether the one tugged at the umbilical cord or not. If you see a woman with a man and she's pregnant and with twins, you know that the twins came from the same woman. So what are we talking about here? There's a lot of immaturity. And because people are angry about slavery, they don't understand that there is evidence out there, historic evidence that's been hidden from you. And you're being told certain things so that you say, oh, we only came from Africa and we don't come from nowhere else. So to the black people, you are stuck in the white man's ideology. You might look at me and see a harlot, a Jezebel, and somebody who's dumb, but you would be mistaken.
Think again.
Boom, bam, in it. Anyway, sorry. I can be ridiculous and childish sometimes. But it's only in jest. Shouldn't jest. It's wrong to jest. Anyway, all I'm saying is this. I don't really care what you think about me. Honestly, I don't. I just find it interesting. And the things that you would say like that to me, I heard them decades. Yeah. And I just think there's still people like you still here when there's more information. It's been decades.
Just like arguing.
It's been decades.
They don't even think. It's just, this is my point. That might just be their reaction to everything.
I don't really care. I'm just saying, insult me all you like. I didn't create the history. I wasn't here.
Yeah, but
I didn't create the facts. I wasn't here when they occurred. And rather than, if you want to be emotional and be the dickhead at the back of the class that throws things and shouts out, then be my guest. And if you want to know why I don't respond to you, is because you are not worth the breath that I breathe. You have to catch up. You're decades late with your insults. I might have used them myself. I've never used that one. I've never been called that one. So I add that to my insult list. That's an interesting one. Grow up, people. Because as you see, a next war's happening, and maybe one needed to happen in our time for you to understand how things work. You see how the Russians now have had to move out of their country. That is what's been happening for generations. It takes one little toe rag who wants to control the kingdom, wants to usurp the throne, wants to push their ideology onto everybody, and they will kill their own mother and father to do it. It hasn't changed. And that's enough of my rant. But Cardi B is asking the right questions. But I want you to understand that everything that is happening now is because of something that happened in the past. And I said at the beginning of lockdown, and I know people think I'm mad until they don't think I'm mad. But you see, when the truth comes out, you see, when your queen passes, that's when the whole of the truth's going to come out. You think Sir Diana's son with his mixed race wife didn't leave for a reason. Watch when the truth comes out. You're going to realise that I'm not a crazy girl. And furthermore, I will give respect to my uncle, even though I know you diss me, because he was showing me this stuff from I was young. It's not new. So all you people that still in shouting at the back of the class and hurling abuse at me, I don't know what your problem is. Take yourself to KURIMEO's page and shout out that sentiment up there and see if everybody don't drag you that look just like me and you. They're going to drag you to pieces. You're going to look very pretty stupid. I noticed that there's a bag of people in Brum that I don't know what you've been doing all these years. But it seems to me that you've just probably been shaking the ass and chatting shit. Don't come for me because I don't care, number one. And number two, I can back up what I'm saying. Next. This is Thomas Henry Huxley, affectionately known as Darwin's bulldog. Darwin created the theory of evolution. Also, the president of the Royal Society. An excerpt out of his book, The Huxley File. General were the outliners of the continental Euskarian-speaking dark type, just as the British Balgay and the fair type in general. Those are black people who are dark and black people who are light. were the offshoots of the continental Celtic-speaking fair type. And just as in Western and Middle Gaul and in Spain, the Celtic-speaking fair people had, even in the time of Caesar, largely supplanted and absorbed the dark stock. So, in Britain, it is to be supposed that it had altogether absorbed it, and that the dark stock had given up their Euskarian for the Celtic language. All the reasonings may be put in the form of a probable hypothesis as follows: the chain of the Alps, the densely wooded highlands of Central Europe known in old times as the Hercynian forests, and the broad Rhine in its lower course, form a natural rampart between the vast central plains of Eurasia and Western and Southern Europe. Before England was peopled by the ancestors of the present population, the latter region including the north shore of the Mediterranean, Spain and Gaul, and perhaps the shores of the Baltic, were occupied by people of the dark type, who may, by possibility, have been the chief people of the so-called Bronze Age, and in those parts, these people occupied the British Islands wholly or in part, and were the very probably at first the sole occupants.